So week 5 of Triton's Troll Killers take on Division EUC. Right, so what's happened so far? No inducements. He won the toss and, not unexpectedly, chose to kick, putting me under pressure to score. And the kickoff event was an extra reroll for each team. So I've set up in a way which I'm hoping to get hits. I've not done such a great job. Probably could have done it better by slightly offsetting the troll. But I want to keep the troll central because I've got to get downfield and I've got to also protect against the blitz. My biggest problem is if he gets the blitz, the game might well be lost. So let's see how I do. First hit with Mighty Blow, just a push. Rats. Mighty Blow guy's done nothing. Second action, blitz from the right. Does knock him down. The no joy, leave him marked by that guy. You can step the Black Orc forward to protect this blitzer. Good. All going well so far. Step him forward to protect him. Punch him. Lets me step him forward, which may have been a mistake. Why did I do that? Can't remember. Bring these guys in to guard the left a bit. Ah yes, for the troll hit. Didn't need it. But by stepping him in, now I can step him in and step him in. And now I've got a new forward line, which is not too bad. Managed to pick the ball up, hoorah, and run it forward. And things are looking safe and no damage done, but I have the ball. The game's not instantly lost. Not unexpected blitz on the end weak guy. So what had I left him hittable? This guy and this guy, and if he really wanted to go for it, no, he couldn't really. 4 players to commit to bang down this guy. Probably couldn't have even done it because of this guy here. So, you know, I dictated the blitz to the best of my ability, and that's probably the blitz that helps him the most because it puts a bit of pressure on the side. So, you know, no surprises as he minces about elf screening. I kind of want these dodges not to fail because I kind of want this clear so I can progress forwards. Because I always say if you can get, you know, a square forward at this stage of the game, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want to go too far forward, but, you know, maybe a square. So I'm forming my line, and because of the risk at the side here, I'm at least putting a screen in before the Mighty Blow blitz on this guy. Who's pretty much the only decent target I've got that's safe. Again, second Mighty Blow hit. That's a push. So we'll keep a tally, shall we? MB hits 2, pushes 2. Didn't need to cage up at all, just really this was here as a protection in case of failure here, just to give me that not blitz downable base the ball guy. So I quite like what I'm doing so far. I mean, because I didn't step forward, he's taken that opportunity away from me by caging up closer, but in a way that's good for me because if I do step forward, the try doesn't go. I don't want to be too far away from people. Black Orcs are slow. But you know, now he's coming the other side, which is not a surprise. Again, the blitz is coming in where I want it to be, which is on weak people. By having these two together here, it was harder to blitz them. So he's headed around the back, so, you know, want the troll to go forward, he refuses to. That does make my life a little tricky. You know, I prefer, if he went forward, I would have then, you know, potentially put a line of 3 here, get a blitz up. But as it is, I probably need to fully cage up, which I do. And then gank the guy at the back because, you know, he's an easy blitz target and it lets me leave people fairly safe. Third Mighty Blow hit. Third push. It's going so well. So he does decide to put a bit of pressure on this turn. Looks like he's winding up for a hit on this corner. Also getting his elf screen as strong as possible. No surprise, you know, it's a Black Orc. I mean, he is, because this guy, perhaps it was a mistake leaving this guy here. If I just moved him over here, then it wouldn't have been... No, maybe it would have been, I don't know. He's weak on the corner because he hasn't got the troll supporting him. I didn't spot that when I set it up. So that inevitably draws the blitz rather, on a guy that I don't want him to have. And, you know, 3 3 blitzes, 3 knockdowns for him so far. I'm not winning this war at all. So he leaves it based, which you know, does not surprise me, but you know, at the moment I'm under no pressure to move forward. Troll just not playing the game at all this game, but not a big drama because I've got the blitz off and this should work. Now, I'll just point that out that that was the 4th Mighty Blow hit and the 4th push. So every turn I've done a hit with Mighty Blow and all I've rolled is pushes. Shocking. So I have to move slightly left and I feel I need to strengthen up on the left a little bit. Again, you know, this corner is weak. That does nothing to strengthen it. The Black Orc on the ground, I feel like I need to leave him there because he's just going to get punched for free and then also get a blitz. So again, only potentially this guy's got a hit, but not really. So again, I'm weak here. He can get in. He actually goes for a cage dive, which, you know, he skulls, which is... I mean, that could have been bad for me there, but, you know, one of those things. Possibly bad play. But because he's failed that, I've got all these hits. So I have now broken armour, but that was not with the Mighty Blow guy. Mighty Blow guy's... Oh no, it was with the Mighty Blow guy. Okay, so that's 1 hit, 1 pow. So that's 5, 4, 1 currently for Mighty Blow hits. And that wasn't even a blitz, that was a free one that I got. So assuming I can get rid of everybody, the trolls move forward. You know, I'm not in a bad spot now. These are just outrigger hits, they don't matter if they fail that much. And I can form a line of 3 at the front here, and I'm going to pause this here. This is very unusual for me to make a foul. Why am I making a foul here? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3 assists on this foul. No, 2 assists, he's been cancelled. So that's 1, 2 assists. And against armour 7, I've only got a roll of 5 or higher, and he's going to be at least stunned. This player is a real problem for me. Here's the guy that can dodge in really easily with agility 5. It's a pretty easy dodge in, and he's going to keep doing it all game long. And if I can get rid of him, that makes my whole drive so much easier, and it's worth risking the player for. Now, I have no reserves, so I'm looking to potentially trade a player for no effect whatsoever, but even a stun here doesn't hurt me. So I wouldn't normally do that, but it was very much a bit of an impulsive... All right, I can't just let him dive in the whole time. At least if I show him I'm going to foul him when he does it and it fails, he might be a little more reluctant. So that was a very tactical foul, and for no effect whatsoever. At least I didn't get sent off, because that means no player for the whole rest of the game. So normally I wouldn't foul unless I had a reserve. So I haven't got a reserve in the team because of deaths and having to buy replacements for them. I've been quite cash strapped with this team so far. Anyway, so he continues to pile on the pressure. Constantly basing the ball, but only single basing it as things turn out. And then because he then dodges away to screen, arguably not in a great position. I see space up here. I can actually move forward now, and I kind of need to. I wasn't keeping an accurate count of the turns, and but I now need to go forward. So I'm trying to form a cage up here somewhere. Cause I've got to get forward so that I'm within scoring range in 2 turns. I've already, because of the troll not playing ball, suffered quite a lot on that. Had to move that guy in there to cancel the assist, which was not part of my plan, but did get the knockdown with Mighty Blow. Did get a hit. So that's 6, 4, 2. No armour breaks yet. Oh, it was the last one I stunned, can't remember. So I do manage to clear everything, but I didn't make much progress forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just about in no GFI movement for this guy, with only 2 turns after this one. I thought I had 3 turns left. I'd not kept me on the score. It's a problem that I've got. I look right, thinking that's a turn counter, but actually, this is my turn counter. So I learned that in the second half. And that dodge away there actually helps me massively. Arguably, he should have been 1 further across. 1, 2, 3, 4, because of the screen. Stops his players from getting forward and getting to this corner where I don't want them, because that's where my progress can be. Had he been one wider, it might have stopped that guy. No, it would have stopped that guy, but I just felt that was a slight misplacement, but maybe it wasn't. Of course, he gets a removal, because why not? Knockout. Thought about Apoing it, but I thought, you know what, it's too early. I'm going to have 2 recovery rolls anyway. Odds are he will come back, and odds are I'll need the Apo later. So he's given me a bit of a gank. He's gone very heavy on the left, and he continues to go heavy on the left in the attempt to get rid of my Mighty Blow, because that's the guy he's scared of. But that leaves him very weak on this side, which gives me a real opportunity to advance. And again, because he goes here, I'm left with just one guy to get out of the way. So I have a damn good go. The Troll, oh my god, how many times has he been stupid this? Well above the averages. So it's hard to do without the Troll. That was a complete misclick. I went wandering forwards, and what I meant to do, that was supposed to be a blitz. He was supposed to come from here and blitz him over here. But instead of doing that, I measured it out, yeah, it's going to be a blitz. And then when I re-clicked it, I just didn't click blitz first and didn't move over here and just clicked it was a disaster. And luckily, I managed a 5 on the dodge roll. So flipping lucky here, because there, maybe I just moving him for the assist, actually. Yeah, maybe I was moving for the assist. I don't know, it was all messed up. I'm pretty sure I was going to blitz with him. 1, 2, because he was already in the way. I wanted to be able to get him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because then I'm in good shape to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and have a cover forward, cover back, cut off this guy, cut off that guy to make it really hard for him to get in, and then I'm pretty safely caged up. That was a complete cock up. But by blitzing him out of the way first, it lets me know where my movement goes. And because of that, I then had a bit of a drama. So I had to move him without him going the extra square forward, which potentially means that this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hit the ball here, if the ball's here. On 8. Yeah, so he can get a 1 die on the ball here. If there was 1 forward, the ball here would be safer. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I'm looking at making GFIs now with only these turns to score. I haven't made as much progress for what I'd like. So I end up hitting him with this guy. At least it works. Stun is helpful at this point. Just one less player who can shenanigans about with. So I'm trying to build some kind of a cage, but it's quite tricky to get the movement to work. It's all a bit tight. So I end up just an eye cage. That was about the best I could do, I thought. Rather than leave him here and gankable by this guy, at least here he's got support. Mighty Blow guy's looking to get a free hit. Next turn, I've got 4 rerolls, you know. And that, GFIs, before I move him, was just, you know, arguably I should have moved him to tag him first and then done the GFIs. In fact, almost definitely. There might have been a movement problem because he might have been in the way. So all he's got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it hasn't got a great hit on the ball, so that stopped that. He can dodge this guy out the back and hit the ball, but again, it's not a great hit. It's a -2 dice hit because of the eye cage. So that was about the best I could do, because he left his players well out of position, so he gave me a great chance to score here. And I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. GFI, plus probably some block dice, depending on what he does with this guy. So I was quite pleased with how things panned out. Mistakes were made. Mighty Blow hits didn't do much. Troll didn't do much. You know, I felt I didn't have the rub of the dice that particular turn. He doesn't have quite enough movement to get there, which would have really shut me down. Now, he goes for the blitz. Is it a red dice? I'm sure it is. Yeah. And he gets a push, which is not massively surprising. He tries to reroll it a bit low, is it? So I've been pushed laterally. So by being pushed laterally, I've got the same number of squares to get there, but it's a bit harder because this guy's kind of in the way. And I did look, can I go this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dodge to get through there, blitz this guy out. Or, if this guy gets out of the way, and I can blitz this guy out, which I thought I probably had enough players to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I really want to blitz from this square. Yeah, I need to blitz from this square to get him over here. Otherwise I'm making a dodge anyway. Of course, if the blitz doesn't move him, I've then got a really nasty dodge out. So it's all a bit tricksky-witsky. So, Troll activates. I thought activate him because it blocks off. Don't really need him for anything, but at least try and activate him. Make this a 3 dice. The first one didn't work. This one's a 3er. 3, which gets a Kaz. First SPP on that guy. So just to be clear, it was a 3er because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So I need to move the Black Hole King to give me assist. The 3 dice potentially helped. He's now off the pitch. That's great. So now I've got this guy who can just about go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a GFI and a GFI and a blitz that is anything but a both down. Anything but a both down, the blitz works fine. And then I need to follow up and go down there. So that's looking pretty good dice now. There's my assist. Just move that guy there so he hasn't got something to come around the back in case this fails. So he can't. I mean, he's got nothing downfield anyway, so he can't score. Blitz comes up with both down, so I need to re-roll it. The first one I'd used all half. Follow him in. And then it's just a GFI. Now I haven't got the re-roll on this, so it's puckered bum time. But for once, the GFI works and I'm scored. So for the first time in games, I have scored on my drive, which is great for not losing the game. And what's better, that particular blitzer that was carrying it levels. So that's a level up from the game, which is great. Blackout doesn't come back, but I've got one more attempt on that. So now I could have left 3 liners in the line, and arguably maybe I should. But I thought, no, I'll put the troll there because I don't really want people getting hit too bad, and the troll's fairly resilient and hard to hit. So it makes his one turn a bit tricky, trying to have to punch the troll because he's strength 5. And I was expecting him to try and do a 1 turn, and he just didn't. I did everything I could to stop it. Well, not everything I could, but the safest one way doesn't get the 3 blitz hit. So I've kind of hung these guys a little bit out to dry. He's not going for the 1 turn, which surprises me. It's doable with movement 7. He's got a movement 7 agility piece, makes the dodges much easier. I can't understand why he didn't go for it, apart from he doesn't know they exist. 1 turn touchdown, i.e. you can score in 1 turn by pushing the player with the ball upfield by getting chain pushes. You can do it with 11 orcs, or even 10 orcs with a touchback, and they only move at 6, so it's definitely doable with movement 7 elf. Tricky bits, the dodges throughs at the end, but again, elves are much better at that, especially in agility 5 now. He beats me all up. He doesn't go for the foul, he's already a man down. And best thing is, I get through to half time, I'm 1-0 up. And the Black Orc comes back. So I'm on a full team and he's a man down. So it's stacked well for me doing okay. So I have a pre-planned defence here, which is deny him hits. It's hard for him to get hits here without using his entire team, which I don't mind if he does. It's hard for him to get hits in here because they're all strength 4 and this is protected. So he has to commit a lot of men to do it, and he hasn't. It's not really on for him. So I've basically denied him LOS hits completely, which is good for me. But I haven't covered the pitch, which is bad for me. 3 pickups, bad for me. And he does catch it for free, so this means he can move a bit forward and perhaps do stuff. So because I haven't covered the whole width of the field, it lets him do this. It lets him run down. So now these are all scoring threats with all being movement 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus a GFI. I think with a GFI they're all scoring threats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. The game insists on auto-centering. But then he does this, which is a little bit surprising. He lobs another vanity pass. And he fails it, so a reroll goes on a vanity pass, so he's a little bit in trouble now. Not massively, I mean, I can't get through because he's got a screen, but I can certainly put a bit of pressure on. So normally I'd be ganking this guy, but it was a little bit hard to get the assist in I could have taken the Black Orc 1, 2, 3, 4 into there to cancel him. And then I could have got this guy around to here to give me the assist. I was worried about surfing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have tagged him, or even just gone wide to prevent that. I could have done that. I could have ganked him, and arguably I should have done. But what you don't see in this replay is I spent an awful lot of time scratching my head, really kind of dumb, and then sort of did a panicked last-minute move. So, you know, it was not a well-played turn by me. But, I mean, I've marked these guys so that at least they have to dodge. They've got one reroll. They haven't got dodge. And then I go ganking over here without ever getting round to... now that was a mighty blow hit, so up to 7, 8. There might be 8 mighty blow hits, and that was a both down, so that counts as a nothing. So 8, 5, 3. So because I haven't even marked this guy, I'm well aware that he's got a pick-up, hand-off, pass, or pick-up, pass, hand-off, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a GFI score. But I mean, if he does that, I've got 7 turns to score back. And I've learnt a lot from the first half, so I don't mind if he tries it. And if it fails, the ball's down here somewhere, and oh, I'm a bit thin, and I'm a bit thin over here. Maybe I've left this completely bad. So, you know, I'm not entirely proud of that. That going forward might have been a mistake. But he put him under enough pressure that... Or maybe just gave him the freedom. So I don't like him doing this. But I don't mind it. And the odds are it's going to work. But what he's done is he said, okay, come and win. And I've got 7 turns to do it. And, you know, I will take that any day of the week. So I've got 7 turns to get upfield. You don't need 7 turns as Orcs. Normally I'd gank about for the first 2 or 3. So anything other than a blitz on the... it's a fast 4 passer. Anything other than a blitz and I'm golden. So I do a bit of messing about. I spent an awful lot of time messing about between setups here. What happened there? Halfway through the next turn. Okay. So the kickoff was, thankfully, I mean, he gets another reroll, which is just typical. Because him having just one, both turns he's got a reroll. Him having only one really helps me. Kick him into next week. That's what we like. Smashing elves. I'm covering this side just because it feels weak. And because I'm blitzing this side. Arguably the setup was wrong in the first place, but it is what it is. Line of 3, stronger than a line of 2. Bring these guys up to cover. Punch with the Black Orc, not the Troll. Don't want the Troll going stupid. Punch him into next week. And finally after my 5th game, I get a Kaz with a Black Orc. Finally. Honestly. And then don't pick up. Reroll. Into not picking up. A little bit of pressure, but I'm pretty well covered. This is a pretty good defence for having failed that. Deep kick would have been much scarier, but yeah, he can get around a bit, but I think that's about as far as he can get. If he could do 2 GFIs, he can touch the ball, but you know, he can only get the one guy in, and that guy's obviously possibly getting ganked. Again, he takes the weak guy on the end, not a big surprise. He was the vulnerable guy of the 3, that's fine. His dodge doesn't work, and he re-rolls it. So, you know, had he not got the extra... And I wasn't really sure what that did, re-rolling that, getting him through there. I just didn't... What does that do? It's not like I don't have 1,000,001 players to do stuff. Had he based me up everywhere, and he's, you know, I'm completely free. Even my Mighty Blow guy who was committed is now free, so obviously I'm going to blitz with him. So, you know, I need to move these guys back a bit. I cover off straight away. Realising I can't pick up with this guy, because if I do that, nobody else can get back to make it hard for this guy to get around. So he has to go back to make the screen, to make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Makes it really hard for him to get around by doing that. And this guy here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, can get there. So that was why I moved him back. And I'm proud of that play, because I wanted to score on him, because more star plate box is good. But I don't mind getting him on this guy either. And just scoring is the key thing. There's the blitz. I've already got all the screen in the world in. Come back to cover the ball. That's all good. Back corner of cage. Back. So now it's really hard to get the ball in. Bring him back to cover for... just, again, make things harder and harder. Come back for the ball. I think because I hadn't moved him, it was actually GFI. That was a mistake. Probably should have moved him first, but yeah. Didn't really matter, because he goes for the not surprising gank here. At the moment it's only a 3, 4, 5, 4. But by bringing him in, which gives me a free hit, he gets the 1 on him. But it doesn't really do a lot for him, because all his players are tied up. So what? It's not in on the cage. He can blitz this guy down. Hard for him to blitz these guys down. So he can get the guy on the end. You know, arguably him across one, maybe, but you know, it's letting some guys in, but it's only one guy. It's only one guy touching the ball, and we already know I can fix that. I mean, yes, I'm screened off. So because he's screened me off and I can't get these guys forward and they're isolated, I need to shift this player so I can get them all up this corridor here, even if it's only a push to here. And I have to do it with the Black Orc, because if I bring one of these guys from the back, because they can't get up this corridor, it would have to be from here. And if it's only a push, I've done nothing. I've still got to dodge out. It's not going to work. So I have to take the risk. So I'm going to re-roll this if it fails, but I only need a push. It is only a push. And then it chose not to follow. I didn't want him to free hit back. And then took a massively risky GFI. So, but that does help later on. So, possibly not the best move. Possibly should just follow, just get him out of the way and take the hit. But a Black Orc getting punched way back here is a very long way from getting back in the action to get me upfield. A Black Orc with a GFI here can still move 4 squares. So, you know, it felt in the rush of the turn like a good thing to do. And now it's fairly easy for me to cage up. Admittedly with nothing out in the front, but he's quite behind. Now I've definitely made mistakes because this guy is lying down, and if I was planning to stand him up, I should arguably have done that sooner. I'm just bringing guys forward as far as I can because I want to have people in front ideally. I dodge him out because if I can get him out, he doesn't get surfed. And by doing this, I've stopped these guys from getting any progress up here, especially taking these 2 guys out of the game on this side. This was a mistake. I should never have made that punch. Because if I hadn't made that one dicer, then he has to use an action to clear the path to get up here. Because I've basically got a screen in. So by doing this, it's a one player used to get rid of him. And even with only a push, he can move the other 2 players up because he's down. So I should never have done that. That was a mistake. But, you know, agreed. If I got the hit, it was good news. And, of course, that guy gets knocked out. And that's bad for me. But I figured, given his position, even if I turn that to a stun, he's out for the next turn, which is my turn 13. He's back on turn 14. He can move 1 square. 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 1, 2. He's just never going to get back in the action. No, a stun or anything, you know, it just wasn't worth turning into a stun. So he was completely out of the action, so no point wasting the apple on him. Normally, first knockout in the second half, I would use it on. But he was just out of the action given the number of turns left. So that ain't great. He's 2 down. I'm 1 down. But I've actually got 2 cards. It's like, it never happens. None of them from the Mighty Blow guy, obviously. So he's trying to get him back. He's scrabbling a little bit because of the placement of this guy. He can't get up that side. So he's given me a chance to move over there, which is great. And of course, you know, keeps piling the pressure in every turn. And gets another knockout. Now this one's different because of where he is. If that's just a stun this time, Turn 14, my turn 13 he can't do anything. My turn 14 he's back in with 1 square, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's potentially in the action, and also by him being somewhere, he's potentially just blocking up a square that's kind of useful. So I turned that to a stunt, which I thought was a good use of Apo, but leaves me at risk of bad things happening in a minute. So he does punch this guy on Wanna, but it stopped this guy from going to reaction, stopped that guy. If I just hadn't stood that guy up, I'd have been in a much better shape because these guys wouldn't have got through so easily. There's only one less guy. But again, I've cleared the space, and there's space up here, and I can get the ball up. So that's blocked off any access from the front. Gets into there. Come on, troll. Doesn't really block access, but it gets the troll about as far as it could go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's as far as it could go, really. He could have been there, but that doesn't help. He's a bit more central. Maybe there would have been better, but I don't mind it. So now you can see this guy, I'll have him back on turn 14, and he'll be able to do something. Even if he's only stand up and mark a player, that's better than having him off the pitch. So he has got some movement to get people round, but I'm feeling pretty close to a score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 3 turns. So I'm feeling pretty good, even to the point where I probably will want to reverse back in field, hence this troll as a linchpin, just because I don't want to give him too many turns to score back. We'll see what happens. And he blitzes. Now, he got a POW and a both down, but he selected the both down because he hasn't realised I've got block. And I think he wants me there rather than over here so we can get around the front a bit easier. I don't know why, but he oopsed in chat immediately. And then he had to dodge away in order to get round to there. So plenty of dodging. And this one hit over here, I think. And at the end of the turn, he goes for this dodge through, just try and base up here. I guess if it hadn't been a loner, he might have gone for a hit on the ball with this guy, but it's just quite risky. Well, he's not a loner. Well, I guess he decided just not to. So that just causes me a little bit of a problem. So I'll pause here. The knocked out guy, 3 to them stand up, 1 to move. It's worth basing this guy, and it's pretty much all I can usefully do with this guy. So that's what I do there. This guy's going to stand up to base him. And really, I'm looking to get some progress forward. Let's wind it forward slightly so I can see what's going on. So the troll can go 1, 2, 3, 4. The Black Orc here can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So really my front of cage is possibly that. But if I can get 2 faster players out in front, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's a long way away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I haven't really got any players. The only 2 fast players that I've got are these 2. And unless I fancy blitzing 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, and a push leaving him still in ball base contact, then I really can't. I can go 1. Because of where he is, if I punched him out of the way first, if I moved the troll to here, then punched him out of the way, and followed, I'd have a troll and this guy here, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's okay. And then I could blitz with this guy and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basing. And that's the kind of problem I've got. If I go any further forward than this line, I'm leaving my front of cage based. But I can potentially get this guy and this guy into a position in front of the cage, which might be my best bet. But I might equally be able to use maybe this guy would be the guy to use to kind of keep him pinned down. So that's kind of what I'm thinking now. At the time I did something similar. Had to move a guy up to allow the troll move to happen. He was front corner of the cage. Yeah, I haven't gone 4 forward, have I? Could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he could have gone 1, 2, 3. Maybe it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he was the slow guy. I couldn't. The troll could have got a square forward and probably should have got a square forward. But that would have left an easy way into the cage, so not being able to get that guy forward was a problem. But I could have moved this guy 1, 2, 3. But I wanted the hit. Yeah, okay. Possibly could have played it better. Anyway, so that's this guy. And now I'm putting him rear cage corner. He could have been front cage corner up here with this guy doubling up with him. And this guy could have been this cage corner. So yeah, I'm not convinced. I've left this guy free to roam. And I've sent that guy up there I don't like. So the troll could have been next to this guy on this line here. And even basing him, that would have been fine. So yeah, I don't like how that ends up. Stand him up to use up the action. Knowing he's going to get punched and knowing he could die and not caring. And because he wasn't there and he wasn't there, he's been taken out of the game quite effectively there. And also, as a scoring threat, he would be better further forward. So this is the punch that I gave him for free, which, you know, was the mistake. And he's just putting in an elf screen. Dodge away to get the last guy in the screen. Arguably should have dodged that guy away to bring up here. Stop me going laterally. But so what are my options here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to get at least a square forward. If I can get 2 squares forward, that's fantastic. To get 2 squares forward, I need to have my front cage on this line. And the safest place to do it is all the way over here. But again, I haven't quite got the movement to get people up there. Because I was quite slow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. He could be back of cage. This guy could be 1, 2, 3. I can't get in to the position I wanted to get him around the corner because this guy's in the way. So just this guy being here is kind of done the job. So I end up doing this. Stand him up, keep him pinned. Move him in for the assist because I want to get this hit. Did it early because it was a safe move. Probably shouldn't have followed. Send the troll forward. That bases a guy. Had to just stand him up, that's why he's there. Because I had to stand him up. Try and blitz out on this left side. Shouldn't have followed. Should have actually moved him to there. He should have gone back to there. So now I've got 1 square forward with a base cage, but the base cage is Black Orc based. And the whole point to going over here is, now I've got an out to this corner, and if he wants to cover it, he's got to bring these guys who move 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 6. Can he get them that far? So he's going to kind of recycle everybody over here, and if he does that, then he's left space up here. So, you know, having a guy pinned here, a guy pinned here, and this guy can get into the mix, it just makes it harder for him. This guy really can't get into the game because I've got blocked there, blocked there. This guy is just too far away to get into the game. I mean, yes, he can get to the back, but he can't get around the front to screen, so, you know, it's not terrible. But that was a mistake. He should have been, absolutely should have been there all day long. Takes his punishment, which he didn't need to take. And the worst thing is that's left a fairly easy dodge in here for his cage dive. Whereas if he'd been there, he would have been effective, he wouldn't have been stunned. And, you know, in a cage dive and him knocking over this player at this point is really bad because it leaves me with very few scoring threats. The troll, this guy, he's really too pinned down to be a scoring threat. He's a scoring threat, but it's just not enough. So he gets the push. That makes 2 GFIs for this guy now to score. Doesn't follow, possibly correctly. Possibly not, actually. Because he could have been cleared fairly easy with this guy, but the dodge here means that this guy has to be used to clear this guy. So now I've got a bit of a conundrum. The only useful thing this guy can come and do is come up here and assist this hit that I'm going to have to do to clear the ball. So we'll let him do that, and then we'll have a look at the situation. So as I said, in terms of scoring threats, it's this guy with 2 GFIs, this blitzer with 2 GFIs, this guy on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 GFIs, this guy with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 GFI, but he hasn't got the ball. Technically this guy, although he's got no path. So I've got a few scoring threats. One, bit of a joke one, a reasonable one, and the guy with the ball is the ideal one, because if I can clear the path, there's just one less handoff to do, and a handoff's 3+, I think. So in order to allow him to progress anyway to even hand off, he's either going to do a dodge. Dodge at the moment is a bad dodge because he's in the way. So he's got to get him out, he's got to get out of the way. So ideally he comes to here to give this a 2 dice so he can push him to there. Get him off with a risky 2 dice because he's the loner. Get him off, blitz him out of the way, and then it's either a handoff or a run through play and we're all good. So now it's like, now I've moved him, will the troll play ball? I need him for the assist here. No. So that now gives me a problem because it means I can't make this a 2 dice and the blitz a 2 dice. Now arguably the one you want to make a 2 dice is this one. But he's one of my outs to score, and by moving him to here, then I can't use him as an out to score. So this is probably why I get the sequencing a bit wrong. The loner one works, that's good, and I wanted to do that one before. At that point, I'm all in on this. I've still got an out here. If that wasn't a knockdown, if that had just been a push, then it means I have to dodge out of this square, which, you know, is a 3+. Equally, the handoff is a 3+, but he can't score, he's got no scoring threat. So it's the same dice roll, a handoff or the push. So arguably, you know, I shouldn't make this next hit, except that I've still got the reroll, and he's got Mighty Blow, it's a Mighty Blow hit, so, you know, I'm never going to not take it, am I? So now I'm all in on this. Need 2 GFIs for the win. Not a problem, didn't even use a reroll all turn. So, you know, arguably some slight mis-sequencing, and I didn't take the shortest path to victory in terms of dice rolls, but it wasn't terrible what I did. Had a slight drama at the end because the lone lineman stole the MVP, and had he not done that, obviously I would never hire him, but because he'd done that, I can't afford to buy him and the blitzer I want. I can afford to buy him and a thrower. A thrower in the next match isn't terrible. He's got sure hands. Useful to be able to pick the ball up easier with elves on the field anyway. Also, when the elves get stripped ball, useful to be able to carry with him. It ultimately leaves me with 12 players and a blitzer still to buy, which isn't good because I really don't want to go to 13 players on the team this early. But I can always, you know, you can expect someone's going to die at some point probably, and if not, I can always sack a lineman. It's only 50. It's nothing. Money's nothing. So yeah, a bit of an issue, but you know, I did buy him. So stats-wise, I did 37 blocks and inflicted 2 injuries. Hooray! He did 25 blocks, which is not that many, but that's normal for elves, and got 2 KOs, so that's a little bit lucky for him. SPP did all right. They bought the MVP. 2 on a Black Orc, hurrah, first SPP on a Black Orc, and 2 on a Lino, which is good. And then 2 scores and I get Bone Breaker, which is nice. I only needed 1, but 2 is a bonus, I think getting close to his next level. What else? Dice rolls. Really stupid. Certainly didn't help me. Everything else was nothing too crazy that I can think of. Got away with a lot of dodges. And my KO came back just about okay. My block dice, I got 23 good uns and 19 bad uns, although some of those aren't too bad for me, but an awful lot of pushes. It was rather weighted towards the pushes, I think, which is not, it certainly slowed down my progress up the pitch. And that last turn, pretty much all I got was pushes, but luckily it was all I needed. He did 20 and 15. And 13 pushes, so again, he had better dice for the blocks he did. But overall, you know, I did okay, and it was a good result. So let's just look at the team. So I have 70k in the bank, just enough to buy a thrower, and I've got 11 players. So that's the best the team's looked in terms of quantity of players. Still down a blitzer, which is tricky, but I could potentially take a mighty blow on this guy, and I'm nearly at dirty play. I really wanted it for this elf game, which would have been maybe why I should have handed off to this guy to score. But, you know, superstition, and one more dice roll of 3+, that didn't really want to have to take. So yeah, good game, and not looking forward to the next one against the Wood Elves, but maybe I can get a draw out of it. Probably not. So we haven't yet looked at the standings, and this is where we stand after week 5. At the top is the Brambled Gardeners, who, as you can see, have won their last 4 but only got a draw in their 5th game, giving them 13 points. They're looking nailed on to qualify, but they've got some tricky games ahead. In second position are La Casa de Carta, the Lizardmen, who I defeated. They have won 3, drawn 1 and lost 1 to me. They are a point ahead of Triton's Troll Killers, my glorious band of orcs. We have won 3, drawn none, because what we like to do is to lose, and we are just a point behind currently, so there's a battle going on there. Now, in 4th is Arm of the Neverwinter, the Norse, who I defeated in week 1. They've got 8 points, having won 2, drawn 2 and lost 1. So we're all in the mix for who's going to come second in the division, as are the High Council of Dank. Now what's interesting here, I've got 7 points with 2 wins, 1 draw and a loss. So my run-in from here, the next game I play the Wood Elves, who are top. Pretty much everybody has lost them apart from the Norse, who dragged the draw. So if I can get a draw, that's a huge result. A win would be massive and would immediately catapult me into probably, you know, 2nd spot, and would nearly overtake him, so that would be fantastic. But then after that I play the High Council of Dank, who are here. So again, that's a tricky match. They're doing quite well with 2 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. That's not bad. If I can beat them, that's all good. I mean, that should be doable, you'd think, wouldn't you? I don't know. And then the Nurgle, here they are down the bottom, the Wraith Reavers. They finally got a win after weeks of draws and losses. So that should be a nailed-on win, you would think, with an Orc team against a very, very, very underdeveloped Nurgle team. But we will see. And then my 8th, 9th and final game is against the Maiden Warriors, who, again, are middle of the table, having won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. So a Dark Elf team. You know, I've not done well against the Dark Elf team so far. Well, I drew against... I lost to E-Gamers, and I beat Light in the Dark. So, you know, anything could happen. So, you know, if I can win them all... Dream. But I've got 4 games left and everything to play for. What's really interesting is that the very next game for La Casa de Carta and Arm of the Everwinter is they're playing each other. So a draw would be a big result for me there. And ideally I'd want the guys in front to lose. But, you know, it could go either way, because although the Lizards are a bit more developed than I play them, they've got 2 block now. Yeah, I still think the Norse are good enough from what I've seen to possibly beat them. I mean, you know, they look pretty well matched, and it could be down to the dice, could be a draw, could go either way. You know, who knows? The key thing for me is if I can get something out of the game with the Brambled Gardeners, and I've got a reserve so I can foul, and I'm probably going to get an Orc thrower, so I'll have the ability to stop him from getting the ball off me with his strip ball, then maybe something will happen. Anyway, we will see what happens.